Alrighty. 61% like this show. It's an 84 on Rotten Tomatoes. A 7 out of 10 on TV. Oh yeah, no. They got some serious issues already.
Okay, you ready? You ready to go off? You ready to snap? We ready to snap. What's up, you guys? It's your girl Kiya.
It's your boy Jalon.
And we are back with another video this week. And today we'll be talking about Batwoman. Season 2, episode 1. I've heard a lot about this series. And you know what? It's been having a lot of people going crazy. You know, it's been having a lot of attention. I've noticed, at least like seeing like a lot of videos, especially on like on YouTube, just scrolling. I just see like a bunch of like reactions and stuff to the show, and I was just like, you know what, let me check it out. And we decided to do this review today. Now, I wasn't really sure what to expect. He wasn't really sure what to expect. I didn't really have any high standards. I didn't have high standards for it because looking at the trailer, I already didn't like it based off of the trailer. And I was like, should I really watch this? And I tell you guys, I had to kind of force myself to watch it. That's pretty much what I had to do.
She had to force me to watch it.
I had to force him to watch it, exactly. Like, we have to do this review. Like, we have to. Because, like, you know what?
I mean, this is the worst part of the job, you know? It's like, okay, yeah, I love watching the movies, but when you got one like this that you just really...
Yeah, it's just like, dang.
It's like, you already... It's like, I really don't want to see this.
Yeah, because the thing that sucked is when, first of all, when they first introduced Batwoman in the first place, which was season 1, I was like, oh my god, I'm excited, it's gonna be lit. Then I saw her appear in one of the other shows. Is it Flash or Arrow or something like that?
It was in Supergirl, I think.
It was one of those that she appeared in, and the costume already had me pissed off. So like seeing that, and then also seeing her in this show, I just really didn't like it. So it already turned me off from watching this series in the first place. I just never ended up watching the series, and that's mainly why. Just because I can already tell, it's just I couldn't force myself to even watch the first season. So starting at the second season, I was like, let me see what they did. Let me see what changes they made. Knowing that the lady who played the original Batwoman in the show obviously quit. You know, she jumped ship. She was like, no, this is it's not for me anymore. Like, she was out of there. And I don't.
And why isn't it so?
You know what? Yeah, I guess she saw that it wasn't, you know, a place where you know what I'm saying. Like, she saw it was going downhill. It was already pretty rocky starting off. But I think once she caught on to the fact that it was just like, she's like, look, I'm just gonna go ahead and, you know, stop here. And right then, I feel like right then they could have just ended the show right then, but nah, they just like, we're gonna do a season 2. And I was like, I was not expecting that. If you guys are gonna do a season 2, it has to be way better than season 1. And I just feel like they definitely fell short a lot.
They took a lot of shortcuts.
Yep. Okay, so for me, when it came to the show, I was thinking, when I went into it, I was just like, okay, so here we have a whole new character basically coming in right after the original main character. You know what I'm saying? So there's coming in a new main character. So I was like, well, for the transition, I feel like it definitely could have been worse. I feel like the writers in some ways...
No, it was pretty bad.
It was bad, but what I think is it could have been way worse than how it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was bad, but it could have been worse, if you think about it.
There was no transition. That's why it was worse. They just...
Yeah, it was
she just like, popped up in there.
She's kind of popped up, but I feel like they could have failed even harder. I feel like they could have. I honestly feel like it could have been way worse than
how much worse could it be with you having a season 1 already and you pop a new person up on the screen and just say, hey, figure it out?
I mean, that's true, but I really feel like it could have been worse than how it was.
Think of it like this. If you didn't already know season 1, like for example, I didn't watch much of season 1. I didn't enjoy the first 2 episodes of the first season. Mm-hmm. And my first time seeing the show, I'm seeing season 2, episode 1, and this person pops up on the screen who I know nothing about throughout pretty much the whole episode until the last 5 minutes.
That's true.
You're showing me flashbacks throughout the episode of this person, and I still don't even really know what the person name is.
That's true. Yeah.
And why the heck why is she involved in this storyline? There's no reason why she's connected to Batwoman at all. Why the heck is she even in that city? Is my question.
There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot that they like. I honestly feel like that's like a show that should just like let die off and then start again later. I feel like they're in that point to where it wasn't like too popular where people knew too much about it. It was enough to where they could just scratch it and maybe come back in a few years and try again. But the fact that they came back and failed that hard, I was like, you guys should just let it die and then come back, because I really feel like that season really wasn't even worth it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really wasn't worth it. It was definitely a waste of money, and I really didn't like the fact that I think I'm gonna read one of these comments that I really liked that somebody made about the post. Black isn't a character trait, gay isn't a personality, trying to write a story otherwise is why these characters fail. Okay, so they also talked about another character called Miles Morales. They're talking about him. He said he's black, but obviously we like him not for that. He is a separate character with his own emotions and problems. He is not Peter Parker. But anyways, basically what they're saying is the color of your skin and stuff like that shouldn't be like, your character shouldn't just be surrounded around that. Like, your character can stand alone. And I feel like for her, bringing her in there, I feel like they tried to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like one of the issues with Batwoman in the first place is that they focus a lot on feminism, and you know what I'm saying, like, we understand that. I feel like the show in itself and the character in itself will stand alone. Like, you don't need to have like push that so hard on a character and have that like encompass the whole character. You know what I'm saying? Like, the character themselves can stand, you know. That's one thing I don't really like care too much. Like, when they have like a spin-off show, right?
Well, that's CW. I mean, and that's part of the problem that I have with CW is they don't know how to let social issues speak for themselves. They need to put the message of the social issue inside of the show.
Yeah.
You making Batwoman an African American woman is enough in itself.
Exactly.
When we saw Aquaman as Jason Momoa, which we all believed at some point, why is a white guy in the South Pacific Sea Aquaman as opposed to a Polynesian whose islands are in the South Pacific not being Aquaman? So when we saw Jason Momoa get the part of Aquaman, they didn't need to put him in the video and say, I'm like, they didn't need to do all that. And it's the same thing, you know, with other characters. The statement speaks for itself. When a black person sees black representation, you don't need to inform me that they're black. You don't need to inform me that they're gay. It's sort of the same thing with straight superheroes. You don't see a superhero say, I'm black and I'm straight. Because I'm black and I'm straight, I'm such and such. Like, nobody, it's not something that needs to be said.
Exactly. It's just like, just like let the character be the character. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop trying to like push
people
that
make their
so
own
much.
connections with that character. For example, some people Toph is never said to be gay or bisexual.
Right.
But some people just feel that way. Some people identify themselves with that. It doesn't need to be said, but it's something, and it's not even that it can't be said. Okay, the character's bisexual. That doesn't need to be a part of that doesn't need to be her identity. That you can't make that why people should like that character.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you cut off a part of the other population who may identify with her in another way.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I noticed in a lot of reviews that reviewing the show. Is just the fact that a lot of people don't feel like they can watch the show because those things are being pushed so much, like, with that character. So it's kind of like, well, we want to watch the show, but it's hard for us to really identify with this character because everything you're pushing is not really something that I can relate to. It's different if you're going based off of the character and where you can actually relate to certain things that character is going through. But when you make that stuff like the main thing about that character and not really develop that character like completely, it's just basically that stuff, then it's gonna be hard for other to get a diverse audience in the first place.
I need you to fix his suit.
The suit is literal perfection.
It will be. When it fits a woman.
You're a female Bruce Wayne.
Awesome, hilarious, handsome.
No, it's Batman!
They think I'm him. I'm not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work.
Not to mention, you have the same, and this is my issue with it, because I'm familiar with Ruby Rose's Batwoman, and I'm starting to get familiar with Javicia Leslie's Batwoman. And the problem is that they're two totally different people, two totally different backgrounds, but ultimately they're the same character. They just made Ruby Rose black. And they gave her the black stereotypes. Oh, she doesn't have parents, and she had this one mother figure who raised her. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a very stereotype black woman. But ultimately, you have the same characters. You have one who's white, grew up with a spoon in her mouth, lesbian, got a silver spoon in her mouth. She's a lesbian. And then who's been through some stuff, and then you have a black woman who's been been through some stuff. So far, she's only been identified as a lesbian, and she has sort of this dark persona, and they're the same exact character. It's the same thing. So when you're talking about two totally different people from two totally different backgrounds, we should see two totally different Batwomans. But you're giving us the exact same Batwoman. And even then, in that one statement that she made, I forgot what it was, where they asked her what makes her deserving to wear the suit. None of what she said made her qualified. She wasn't qualified, and because of her sob story, and even then it was sort of like it sort of was a handout, because you had Fox who's standing there. He's like, okay, after everything you just said, you're still not worth the wear the suit. Yeah. He saw it. Well, I don't see. So, and you got the Asian girl who's like, well, because of her sob story, she deserves to wear this suit, even though she's clearly not qualified.
That kind of
you see what I'm saying? Well, because you are gay and you have gone through this and you are a black woman and you seem to be independent. So you know what? Let's put you in a position to do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of a situation where it's disrespectful to the character. It's almost like they just took a huge shortcut and said, you know what? Instead of developing this character over the next 2 or 3 episodes to actually make her a suitable Batwoman, let's just, because she's a black woman and she's gay and she resembles what Ruby Rose's Wonder Woman is, basically virtually the same one, let's just give her the suit.
And I feel like it's kind of annoying as well, because of the fact that we already know I enjoy black representation, but I feel like for this show, I feel like they tried to use race as a way to push the show,
they use race to bring people in.
Exactly, and that to me bothers me, because it's just kind of like, okay, I appreciate that, but why can't you develop the characters in a way that they deserve it? You know what I'm saying? Like, of course we love to see people finally getting out there, you know what I'm saying? And to see like a character that was just so poorly developed, and it was just mainly encompassing she was just very poorly, I don't know what they're trying to do with her character. I'm not really sure. And so one of these comments that somebody said, they brought up the what she said, well, I'll put up there for you guys to see, but basically it was a comment about her saying that she was born from a black lady who died during childbirth. And it's just kind of like what? The way that she said it and the way it was put in there was just kind of like, okay.
For what reason?
Yeah, for what reason?
You could tell that they rushed it because they put in that monologue so that they wouldn't have to go into it later. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, and even then, that was a lackluster performance. I didn't feel anything watching that. Yeah. Usually when somebody, if you have a connection with a character and they say, well, I was born from a black woman who died during childbirth, right? Okay, that's something that should hit you in the heart. But it was just sort of something that was said. When it was over, I was like, okay, is this the last scene?
It's just kind of like...
And even then, the character that they got, she's not qualified to play a leading role. She's not a great actor. Yeah. She's not a great actor, and you could tell because I was wondering. As soon as I saw her, I was wondering, okay, is she foreign? That was the first thing I was wondering, because first of all, she's supposed to be a black woman who seems to be sort of an inner city black woman, right? Lower on the social status. But she wasn't giving me that air. I was like, I don't feel like, because you know where we're from, we know what that looks like. And I was like, okay, first of all, her acting isn't great. it seemed like she was trying to force something. I was like, okay, she can't be actually in a city.
And
when I go and
came
look
off
at
like kind of cringy.
exactly,
At a lot of moments, just kind of like, ugh.
And this is why I looked up Javicia Leslie, and guess what I see? Germany. She's from Germany.
Oh.
Now, nothing wrong with being from Germany, but now I see why she was struggling to pull off that part. And then you look at her resume, and really the only big projects, keep in mind, no leading roles. These weren't #1 roles, besides for Always a Bridesmaid in 2019, which didn't do well. God Friended Me, she was in that. Keep in mind, not a leading role. And Carl Weber's Family Business. I didn't even know what that is. And so she's never had a leading role before. She's not qualified to play this part, let alone a part like this. If you're trying to make a social statement, why don't you get somebody who understands what it's like to be a black woman, an independent black woman in the situation, in the particular situation that she's in. And like you said, I think we can both agree that it felt forced. It seemed like she was trying to play a part that she wasn't comfortable playing and that she didn't understand.
Yeah, I think all in all,
the acting overall was poor from everyone. From everyone, the acting overall was poor.
Yeah, even just like going on from that. Even if you think about like the storyline in general, like you're talking about like what does a dude need with a woman's suit?
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's coming to get the bat suit so that he can be Batman. I'm like, the suit isn't even a bat. It's not even.
Exactly.
I mean, okay, give me some context. Is he a cross-dresser, or like is he trying to turn the suit into a Batman suit? Or is he just gonna try to take the suit and put it on?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, I was like, what? I was watching the show. I texted Makai. I was like, what does this dude need with a Batwoman suit? Like, I mean, and then on top of that, this dude has a shot out, and this is what really bothered me. You got a shotgun, and you put the kryptonite in it, and you shoot her, right?
Right.
And it goes through just enough, right? Not too much, enough to cut her. I'm like, okay, that would make sense if this was a pistol. But he just shot her with a shotgun with the only thing that's supposed to be able to pierce that suit. She should have had a hole through her.
That is true.
That's a shotgun.
I was thinking maybe the suit had like buffered it a bit to where it didn't go like.
That is a shotgun. If they wanted to pull that off, you use a pistol. Like, but keep in mind, it's the only thing that can pierce that suit.
And the thing
so if a
too.
shotgun can't do it with that little piece, with that piece, if the shotgun can't get through there, then what can? What you got to shoot her with, a cannon to get it through the suit?
Exactly.
to get it to kill her? Like,
and another thing I was thinking too, I was just like, okay, what is a piece of, like, think about Batman, right? He knows every hero's weakness. So what makes it to where kryptonite is the only thing that can get through the suit? Like, even though it's Batwoman, it's just like, why is that the only material? Like how does that get through the suit out of all things? You know what I'm saying?
And then another question that I had is the plane crash. I'm like, okay, where's the fire? Why? And this is a big plane. Why is there so little damage? No debris. No debris tries to hit her. Second of all, why are the cops so late? They knew the plane was going down. I'm pretty sure there was a signal that was sent out that let them. And then the suit is just sitting out.
And the fact that, and it's not only that, I noticed that too. It's just like, that was a big plane, first of all. That was a pretty
It's
big
huge.
plane.
It was a huge.
And then where it crashed, that there should have been, everything should have probably been on fire at that point. There should have been some type of explosion. And how the heck is that dude still alive? He was literally right there in the wreckage. How was he able to survive through that? And he didn't look like he had that big of an injury.
No smoke, no gas, no more people, nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And you look at, it's like, and then she goes over and she sees no dirt. I mean, I understand the suit is indestructible, but it's laying out. Like, you know how you iron your clothes for later and you lay them out on your bed? Suit's just laying out on the ground, all clean and shiny. and the hair, it looks like it was fresh. It's almost like Kate Kane brushed the hair, laid the suit out, and then brushed it, and then just let it there and
That's
say,
what
"Who
people are
gonna
saying.
find it?"
Like, it's literally right there on top.
You see?
You know, like
it's not even trying to be hidden. It's like somebody could have walked by, looked in her bag, and said, "Is that a Wonder Woman suit you got in there?"
Look at that.
It's like, would you look at that? Is that a red wig? And then, like, no dirt on it, no, just perfect. It's almost like she sat it there and ran. Like, you know, I'm looking at it, it's like.
Yeah, and another thing that bothered me too was in the Pelusi's there, and I guess Kate's dad had showed up, and she was like, they were gonna let him in, they were gonna let him through. He was like, "Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter?" The lady comes up, he's like, "Well, we look for her together." I'm like, where did they do that at? Where did they do that at? You just gonna let him walk in? Where obviously to see what happened to the plane. How
you haven't even been back there
exactly.
yet. Like,
come on, we're gonna look for her. Come on.
You know,
it's
you know, and you have like a bunch of characters that, and then on top of that, the emotion wasn't real. Cause it's almost like they were trying to pretend like they cared that Kate Kane would die.
Yeah, because
was gone.
At the end they try to get emotional about it. But I was like, that's your friend, right?
It's
That's
too
somebody
late.
you care about. Yeah.
It's too late. I mean, if anything, it should have been there should have been a wide range of emotions throughout this particular thing, because what your first thought is that Kate Kane is dead. The second aspect of it is, okay, maybe she's okay, and then last, okay, Kate Kane is dead. But there was no range of emotion. People were just like, yeah. And then when they finally found out that she's dead, she's like, oh my God, she's gone. Like, the emotion felt really so fake. I'm like, okay, it's like, I mean, and then I don't know. And then the villain was so vanilla. Like, the lady.
I didn't know how to feel about that. Honestly.
I mean, it was, I mean, I'm like, okay. What?
I was like, wow, she's really mad. Like, you literally did all that just because. It's just crazy, like, the motive of villains sometimes. I'm like, that's what you wanted. You wanted him to feel guilty and all this other kind of stuff. It's just like, bro, what?
I mean,
you
she
did all
really,
that just to, like, you know what I'm saying?
She's not even really like. I'm like, okay. Because it's sort of a situation where it's like, okay, he steals Batman's face.
Or the lady gave him his face. Like,
gave him his face, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes in, waltzes all the way through, you know, going through everything. Nobody notices he's there. I mean, it was too much going on in one episode. Okay, are we supposed to be focusing on the white lady? Or are we supposed to be focused on a dude trying to be Bruce Wayne? Or are we supposed to be focused on the new Batwoman? Because really, if you're trying to introduce a new main character, Batwoman is the name of the show, right? So that means the focus should have been on Javicia Leslie. In episode 1, it should have been all her, right? It's sort of the same situation as with Black Lightning. Black Lightning did well as far as developing him in the first couple of episodes. We saw Black Lightning, but he wasn't Black Lightning yet. He did some things that were Black Lightning like, but he wasn't Black Lightning yet. We got to learn who he was and what he was dealing with and what kind of person he was and his family before they started developing everybody in his family. Before they before they made him Black Lightning. With her, it could have been as easy as her having the suit. Why did she immediately think to put it on?
People were talking about that scene too, that dramatic scene when she went in the bathroom, in a public bathroom, and changed into the thing. Like,
I mean, I'm looking at that. I'm like, okay, why did she need to put on the suit so early? Why couldn't it have been a situation where she has it, where she just has it in her possession, and they find out who she is later, and she decides to come back and do something like that. I mean, I feel like they should have developed, because now we don't know her outside of the suit. Like, who the heck is this person?
Yeah.
She just random person who found the suit, put it on, is like, hey, can I be Batwoman now? Like, they didn't try to develop her. They were trying to develop a bunch of other storylines, and she really sort of fell to the back. It's like, okay, so this new Batwoman, but guess what? She's not even the show is called Batwoman, but guess what? She's not the main character of the show.
Yeah, I guess they tried to make her a little bit relevant as well, because of the fact that, you know, her mom was killed by that dude, and then you have what's the other dude's fault? The techie guy.
It's Lucius Fox's son.
Fox. Yeah, his son.
Something
Okay,
like
so apparently the same dude had killed his was it his dad or something? One of his family members that was killed by him or something like that. So they both have like a thing against that guy. So like, I mean, I see how they tried to like link them together like that, kind of. I guess they had to do something to make it to where like there's this random person coming out of nowhere. No real like motive. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just kind of like, so I guess that's why they probably feel like they needed to like add, you know, her in there, have the same dude who killed and you know what I'm saying? Like just have that similarity there.
I mean they could have did that with time. They tried to stuff all this stuff into one episode with a bunch of bad, unconvincing actors. I haven't been this disappointed in the direction of a series since Supergirl season 3 and everything after Flash season, pretty much everything after Flash season 4. So I haven't been disappointed in it. And those, I can still watch those. Like I can sit up there and watch Flash and be like, oh yeah, we good. But I found myself after the first 12 minutes of this show, okay, is that the end? Oh, so this is the end.
Yeah, I know.
And then on top of that, the commercials in between, it almost wasn't worth seeing the commercials in between. I'm like, I'm serious. I'm more interested in the commercials right now than I am in the actual show.
Yeah.
I just
really wish they would have just like let the show go for a while and just like cancel it. Just cancel the show after the lady had dipped. And then start again a few years later once you have a proper storyline that people will actually enjoy. Because like I said, even in the first season, that was even rocky. You know what I'm saying? Like not a lot of people liked the show or felt like they could really watch the show. You know what I'm saying? Because of all that stuff that they were pushing. So like I just feel like they should just cancel the show and start it from scratch later. I honestly just feel like they should just did that. Because now it's just embarrassing at this point. Like because they're making DC look really bad, honestly.
I mean, like, even I'm looking at one of these episodes and it shows you exactly what they're trying to do. Batgirl magic.
What is even that?
You know Black Girl Magic?
I know. I've seen that.
So, I mean, that shows you exactly what they're trying to do with this character. I'll put it like this. In basketball and football, we're upset because coaches who are qualified to get the job, black coaches who are qualified to get the job aren't getting the jobs, right? They deserve them, but they aren't getting them. This right here, what it seems like here is it's like, well, she's not qualified, but because she's black, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, we didn't ask you for a handout. We didn't ask you to give us a job because we're black. We want to be qualified and get the job, right? We're not saying that, well, because we're black, just give us the job. No, if we're qualified, more qualified than the other person, give us the job, right? And this right here, it's not that she's qualified. This character that they've introduced, they haven't given us one reason why she's qualified to be Batwoman, or what character trait allows her to be Batwoman, besides for the fact that she's basically the same person as Kate Kane. Right? And then on top of that, the actor that they chose, she's not qualified. How many other black women could you have gotten to play this part? Who are actually closer to the age of the person? Because keep in mind, Javicia Leslie is 33 playing a 25-year-old. How many 24, 25, 26, 27-year-olds that were more qualified could you have found to play this part? That would have done the part more justice. My issue isn't mainly with Javicia Leslie. My issue is with the writers and the casting. Because the writers didn't put any effort into creating this plot or into developing this character. They just said, hey everybody, she's black, she's LGBTQA+, accept her.
Yeah,
it's basically what they did.
That's also how they advertised her as well when they're pushing the show. Is that, oh, she's black, you know, she's a part of the LGBTQ, that whole community, and that whole group and everything. So I think they're really just trying to target those two, like that audience. So like, I think that right there shows you what kind of show you're gonna end up with at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, it's not that anybody has a problem with it, right? Because it's the fact that you can't make that the whole of the story. Right, that's not something that's promoted. It's the sexuality is a part of the character. The color is a part of the character, but that shouldn't be the character. Yeah, I think that's what
because just like she could have been a black woman who's from the inner city. She could have been a black person that was raised rich. A black gay person who was raised rich. right? Or LGBTQ, or however you want to put it. It doesn't define who the person is. It's the experience and what makes them qualify, or the character traits that gives her the ability to be that character.
It gives room for people who can actually relate to those things, room to actually relate to it, rather than it just being like the only thing that surrounds that character. You know what I'm saying? So that way nobody else can really relate to that character. So I feel like in a way when they do that, they don't realize that they're not doing any group a favor. Just because you're appealing to that audience doesn't mean you're necessarily doing them justice, because like, you know, like the character isn't well developed. Like that's the only thing that you're really pushing, like, from that character, besides like maybe some other few things you throw in there to show that they do have like personal struggles, you know, like the whole thing with her having issues with the law, it wasn't me type thing. So like, you know, she has that issue where she was falsely accused, and on top of that you're just pushing this, you know, I'm a black woman, you know, I'm bisexual, that kind of thing. It's like there's more to that character than just that. And I feel like by them just pushing like those things on like a certain audience and trying to appeal to those certain audiences, it's not right. You know, you're not doing anybody any justice by doing it like that. You know what I'm saying?
And the hard part of, and I understand how hard it is to have a main character. Ruby Rose is the main character of this show, and you're trying to shift her character into shift her out and bring in a new character to be the main character. The fact of the matter is that Ryan Wilder, who is supposed to be the new Batwoman, she didn't need to be the main character in those first 3 episodes. They could have made Lucius Fox's son and the one girl the main characters until Ryan Wilder was ready. Right. So what they could have done is, and I like the idea of this because they did it in the Ghostbusters with Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones wasn't a part of the Ghostbusters, but she kept sort of just popping up, and then eventually she became one of the main characters in the movies. And that's what I think they should have done with her. I think they should have, okay, I found this suit, and you know what? It's pretty cool. I'm gonna hang on to it. And then she accidentally hits a button, and the GPS comes up. You know, they're coming after her, right? And there's that storyline. They come and save her and everything like that. And then she gives the suit back, but she continues to pop up. You know, they're developing her story. They're developing her.
Maybe she's inspired by them as well. So when she maybe starts to train, maybe she starts to like maybe go out on her own and try to like, you know, fight crime. And then
eventually they're like, you know what, come.
They run into her again and it's like, you know, come on, we'll help you do this. And then from that point, now that she's in the mix with the 2 main characters that you started off with season 2, you can start pushing her to the forefront as Batwoman. That's a good way to transition from Kate Kane to Ryan Wilder. Yeah, because the way they did it was just too soon. It was too abrupt.
And it was too sudden.
Right after the plane crashes, she's right there.
There's a new Batwoman. Right. There's a new Batwoman. The second Kate, you haven't even given people a chance to say, okay, goodbye, Kate Kane. Type
it's
situation.
Just kind of like, oh, bye.
It's like, well, bye, new one. You understand what I'm saying? And the same thing with the girl. You're supposed to be Kate Kane's close friend, and you just sort of like, well, you know what? She's gone, so next man up.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even really give her a real mourning period to say, well, you know what? We have to figure out how to do this without Kate Kane. Instead, she's saying, well, Kate Kane's gone. We need a new Batwoman. Instead of saying, well, we need to figure out how to do this without her. And then they say, well, here's this person. She's a martial arts teacher. And she seems like this is what she wants to do, so let's train her. That would be a way to transition, give people a chance to say goodbye to Kate Kane in the show, and usher in someone who's really fresh, really new, and just sort of like, for example, that first fight scene that she had with those 2 thugs. That should have been episode 4. Episode 5, where it's like, okay, let me get out in the field. And she finally gets out in the field, and that's how it turns out. You understand what I'm saying? That would have been something to have there. Like, so I look at that kind of stuff, and I think that if you sort of put it in that way, it's easier for us to say, okay, she's good to do this. But I feel like they just sort of said, well, Kate Kane's gone, bam.
Yeah,
and it didn't work. And you know what? And you know why you should be okay with us being so sloppy? Because she's black and she's LGBTQA+. Eric Deggans from critic reviews for Batman season 2 on RottenTomatoes.com says Batwoman still too often feels like a talky soap opera with fight scenes. But these changes can add more depth to the show that always tried to aim higher than typical superhero stories. I'm okay with that. I think that if you're trying to add more depth to a character and more and sort of mix in those social issues and those subtleties, I'm okay with that. But when the social issues and the drama is all, this is a superhero show. I'm sorry, but it is. That's what you decided to make. So those things have to take on more of a subtlety, as opposed to the forefront of the show.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, there's some people who really like the show so far. I mean,
yeah, I've read some reviews where there's some people who actually really do love it.
This is a 5-star rating. It says, giving season 2 a chance, and it did not disappoint. How they build up Ryan Wilder as a character was nicely done. The transition to Ryan Wilder's Batwoman was wild. And then you see another one by Del R. You find a superhero outfit that conveniently fell into your lap. By the way, how the hell is she the same size as Ruby Rose? That's impossible. I'm sorry, but have you seen Ruby Rose? The figure that she got, it don't match a black woman. I'm sorry, it don't. How did it fit is my question. You got the same size head too with all that hair? Like,
oh, that's true too. I don't know how she was able to.
I mean, you know, it says you find a superhero outfit that conveniently fell into your lap, decide to put it on. You decided to put it on, and it is conveniently snug, tailored fit. Then you become a crime-fighting superhero, taking gunshots while shouting, "Hey, this thing must be bulletproof!" All in a matter of seconds. They didn't even try. They didn't even try. Terrible writing, terrible acting, just an absolute atrocity. A weird show nobody asked for.
That was a harsh comment, like.
And it was short too. For an initial episode with a new lead, I am hopeful for what's to come. I can agree with that. The first ones that I gave you that really liked the show, those were critics. I'm surprised. The tomato meter, which is by critic ratings, there's only 17 critic ratings, 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score with 346 reviews was 20%.
Yikes. That's crazy. That's a wild difference right there, actually.
It's a huge difference.
Wow.
I feel like it was the writers of this show that were putting the critical.
Probably what the
How good of a show is this? How good of a show is this, guys?
Or hiring people to go in there and write the comments.
And this is how I felt. This guy right here, this guy's comment right here is exactly how I felt about the show. How can I buy back the time I lost on this? That's how I felt when it was over. Cause I was gonna be reading my book. I was ready to go and read my book. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to sit down, and Makai was like, yeah, did you watch Batwoman? I'm like, Makai, I really don't want to. I said, I really don't want to. I don't want to do it.
I almost feel bad for asking him.
And Makai said, you have to do it so we can review it. So I'm like, all right. And I sat down. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I think what's most disappointing about it is that they could have done so much better with it.
Yeah, they literally could have. I just feel like they're being too late. They could have did better.
They were being lazy with the storyline.
Yeah.
But on a scale of 1 to 10, Makai, what do you rate it?
I'll rate it a 4.
Ooh, you're generous. I'll give it a 3. And the reason why I'm giving it a 3 is because it's on TV. So if it's on TV, then I'll give it a 3 because the action scenes.
Don't even talk about that. You cannot even talk about that car chase. How he in a Batmobile and that car, that van? Because literally when they started racing, right? I was like, oh my god, he gonna speed up to her. What is she gonna do? Nah, she here. And he going like. I was like.
Well, no. What I'm saying, I'm not talking about the quality of. I'm talking about the visual quality. The visual quality of the action scenes is on the same level as what we saw with Green Arrow. Supergirl I feel like was worse, but that's because they had more CGI. They had to use more CGI. And Flash, it was sort of still in that same range. So because of that, the visual, the action scenes, as far as the CGI and stuff like that, it could have been worse. Mm-hmm. It could have been worse, and that's why I'll give it a 3. But everything else.
And I hope that Kryptonite is gonna give her no powers, because that'd be really weird.
That would be stupid. When have you ever heard Kryptonite giving somebody powers?
Exactly.
Lex Luthor would have stabbed himself with that rock a long time ago if that thing was gonna give somebody powers.
That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I'll give it like a little bit of a benefit of the doubt as far as the acting, because I feel like with a lot of shows, DC shows or like CW shows in general, their acting don't be really all that anyways.
I mean, it's.
So I didn't really expect.
I think
much
that's the
with
script.
acting.
I think it's the script.
It's the script too that makes it, you know, really just makes it show. You know what I'm saying?
Like
They're probably looking at the script like, why did I accept this job? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing?
Maybe I'm just tripping. But y'all in the comment section, tell me what you thought about that shotgun scene. Because like I said, I feel like I don't care what kind of rock is inside of a shotgun. You get shot with a shotgun, I don't care what you got on. If it can pierce it, you're dead. And the fact of the matter is that kryptonite, which is the only thing that can pierce that suit, it was not in a pistol, so it shouldn't have gotten stuck on the armor. That was in a shotgun. A shotgun at close range.
Yeah, y'all let us know.
Not long range, close range. Is that possible for her to not have, for her to walk? I mean, let me know. I need to know.
Yeah, y'all put in the comments what y'all thought about the show. If you liked it, tell us why you liked it. You know, just have a whole discussion, because I know there are some of y'all that probably really do like the show. And if y'all didn't like the show, comment down below. If you haven't seen it but you plan on watching it, let us know that too. You know, we want to have all that discussion, what y'all thought about it, everything.
If you like this show, your judgment to me is in question.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to know what you don't like.
That's true. That you have a point. But y'all can also do the rating thing too. What would you rate the show if you've seen it? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, let us know what you rated the show as well. Let us know. How, you know, like, comment. Y'all be scared to comment. But yeah, we'll see y'all in the next video. Alright. Hope y'all enjoyed it.
Like, comment, share.
Yes. Definitely subscribe, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. And
check out the website.
Check out the website. Don't forget to do that, you guys. Definitely do the newsletter. No. Subscribe to the thingy. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Deuces.